Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of Two Fun Guys podcast. I'm Johnny Terre here with
Jessup
and
Nate here again.
the nastiest name.
Yes, sir.
And we have a special guest today, which the second half of the show is going to be dedicated to Mr. Zack Hill, aka Tangled Branches.
What's up, podcast land? It's good to be here.
And he is a visionary bass producer / DJ, so it'll be fun talking to you in a little bit here. What have you been up to, Jessup?
Nothing. You left me hanging.
Yeah, that's true.
Last
I did.
week, yeah.
I was dog sitting and house sitting.
Yep, that's right.
In my
Fishing.
hometown. Yeah, I got my fishing license.
I accidentally said that it was episode 6 because last episode.
Close enough.
It was
Close
that. Yeah,
enough.
it was the 7th or the 7th.
Seventh
Once I'd
episode.
fix myself on that, there, boys.
Yeah, it's all right.
Got a little ahead of the game on that one.
I'm excited. I heard
Behind the game.
I heard part of that, and you guys are funny so far.
Cool.
Like, listen to some of that. I got to finish listening to that for sure, because I enjoyed what I heard. I'm excited to hear something without my voice in it. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we started it up a little bit ago, but it was one with Johnny. We don't know which one it was, but he started talking, and he's
I was like,
"What?"
"This isn't Jessup." Like, wow, your voice is spot on for me. You're doing great.
I master it at home while
Yeah.
we're separated. Nate, I almost got you, brother.
What?
Yeah, I almost mastered your voice down.
Oh,
So like one day I'm gonna be able to do everyone's by myself.
You just do the whole podcast.
yeah, just by myself.
One fun guy pretending to be a bunch of fun guys. I
one
liked it.
schizophrenic guy. That's all it is.
But yeah, I got my. You guys need to get your fishing license.
Absolutely.
For real. Let's go for it.
I
Get a
just-
pole.
my-
Don't get a fish license.
Yeah, my beef is like you just don't need one unless.
Unless you get caught.
Yeah.
No, state parks and shit. You like don't need one. That's just a thing. If it's a
Is
state
it a
park,
thing?
yeah.
I'm going to rivers.
There are
Like the
certain
rock quarry?
areas
Okay.
where you can fish without a license, like
Oh.
Possum.
All right, you're right.
Possum Creek, for example, in Dayton, is license free. You can just go in there and fish at your leisure as a citizen.
There's
Well, that's what's up.
there's a crispy spot I want to go behind my house. You go down
Mhm.
the street to a back of a dirt road, but it's a path to be walked on.
Yeah.
And it's right there on this big old river. Big old son of a bitch.
You might need a license for that.
That's
I'm not
fine.
really 100%.
That's fine, but there's like spots when you go down in the brush. There's like
the
little
brush.
spots where I'm probably gonna assume maybe some crazy kids camped out. Maybe a homeless person has been there, but there's a nice like fire set up. It's good, and whoever was using it, they even restacked it for next time.
Nice. You
Yeah.
can fish, cook your food right there.
Yeah,
I like
boom.
it. That's what I want to do.
I wouldn't trust what comes
I did
out
it with
of the
catfish once at the rock quarry.
I've heard that
We
story.
just threw it on the. You pretty much with fish, you don't have to do anything. Like you just throw it on the fire, and when the skin turns black, it's edible. Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting. Sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Did you have a pan?
No, we just threw it like on some sticks. Like we made a little.
Caveman
Yeah,
stuff.
it was good though.
No,
We
I
tried to
believe
eat the bluegill too, but like it was just not for
See, I like
me.
the taste of crappie. Crappie's probably
Never
one of my
had
favorite.
it.
And catfish. I
Crappie
really
is
like
very
catfish.
mild.
Yeah, it's fish.
It fries up really good. It almost tastes like chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ate when I first started working at McCormick's. They ashtray.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's what that is. But they made an extra swordfish, and I never tried swordfish before. And they didn't tell me what it was. They were just like, "Hey, do you want this right here?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm starving. I would eat that pork chop." And then they're like, "That's not a pork chop. It's swordfish." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Swordfish steak.
Was it
And
good?
then, it was like eating chicken, pretty much. It was so good, so tender, sliced right through with a fork.
How much does that cost? Like at your restaurant?
$26, maybe.
That's like a little less than I was thinking.
What do you
honestly.
get? Do you get fried? That's
That's like
Doubtful.
I don't go out much.
Swordfish would be grilled or pan-seared usually.
yeah, it's on a flat top. If you're
Yeah,
over there.
it's really dense.
Mhm.
It's steaky.
Whenever
Oh.
you pull it out of the pack, it feels like what is it called? Like that flarp stuff.
Oh, that's
yeah,
weird.
It's really
Slimy.
real scushy. It's
Yeah.
not like gooping and shit, but it's like real
Squishy.
soft and
Yeah, I like that word too. Squishy.
Squishy. That is a good word.
It's squishy and gushy at the same time.
Yeah, we stopped on the way to my parents because I live like an hour and 10 minutes, 15, 10, 20 minutes away. And we stopped at a Walmart so I could get my license and a pole, and I got a cheap pole. And then my brother insisted, like, as soon as we get back, we got to go fishing. And it was we left late in the day, and I was like, well, it's going to be dark, and it's getting cold. Like, I kind of want to do, like, sun fishing.
Yeah.
But we went and we were out for a couple hours, and I didn't get a single damn bite. And it was freezing, and it was so dark.
Did you go
We were
back?
not prepared. Like,
Didn't you say you were on a river?
yeah.
Did you
Well,
buy?
It was right by the lake, because like I grew up on Grand Lake St. Mary's.
Yeah, oh, true.
Which is like I'm not gonna eat the fish from there. 'Cause I
Did
guess
you
their
buy,
water is kinda gross?
Like literally, because I went to a Walmart once and got the cheapest pole,
Yeah.
and I took it out like right after I bought it, and it was broken. Like
Oh,
the
no,
the
this-
thing, it was just fucked. Like if you bought the cheapest one.
No, it was like $22.
What's
Okay,
So
that's
So
not
it wasn't
the
the
cheapest.
cheapest.
Yeah.
What's the rill on it? Is it like one of those like?
It's the one that's encased, because my
then
brother,
you hold the
yeah,
little
my brother
trigger.
tried to talk me into the one that like you flip the thing and it's all out there. That looks like a nightmare to me. Like
It's
too-
not.
not-
It's
That's what he said. He's like, you're overthinking it. But
Yeah.
I feel better having my string
I
encased.
feel it. But whenever that shit gets entangled and it's all in there, it's
then it's a bitch because you have
Tangled.
to. Oh, whoa!
What's up?
Keywords.
You rang.
You
The
rang.
thing about fishing reels isn't the cast so much as the reel. And the type that you chose, you actually
Yeah.
have to crank that thing double to reel your bait in that you would if you had chosen one that has a higher gear ratio.
So because of my anxieties, I picked something extra hard.
Yeah, you're going to have to crank
Hell
that bitch.
yeah.
Like, you're really going to have to go to, if you're trying to bass fish and like move a buzz bait fast enough to look right, you're going to have to crank
See, I don't
super
even
fast.
know what a buzzbait is. I'm just trying to hang out in the sun a little more than
Fair
usual.
enough, bro.
And like when I was little, everybody in my family went fishing because we grew up on a lake. And whenever they'd go out, they'd like just sit there and fish. And I was little, and that was annoying. Like, what are we doing? We're not doing anything.
Yeah,
and now,
same.
now that I'm older, I'm like, man, I want to go do nothing by some water.
That's fair, man. That's a different kind of fishing. I'm from the Bassmaster breed
Oh, I
of
got
fishing.
you. So you're like legit.
Oh, I came up like from the time I was a child as a Bassmaster until I was like 20-ish. So
Nice.
I got those mad bass skills,
Have you
which
ever done competitive fishing?
like a tournament.
Yeah, tournament.
I have been in a few tournaments.
Very nice.
So pun intended, you're keeping it real.
Well, I've basically retired from bass fishing. My favorite part about bass fishing is riding in a boat really fast.
Yeah,
I like
but
it.
being in a boat's the shit.
Yeah.
I want to go deep sea fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be fucking.
I am also about that. That sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
I used to go deep sea fishing with well, I'll take that back now. I was gonna say off the I was gonna say off the pier.
Retract.
That's not.
It's kind of deep-ish,
Yeah.
but no.
It's the sea.
But then I thought about like
I formally
out on a
retract my
boat.
comment
Yeah.
about deep sea fishing. It was
My
untrue.
apologies. But I would like to go deep sea fishing. I would be too afraid of like a marlin piercing my chest.
Those are big.
It's a
right?
valid
They're big
concern.
ones.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
they
a
have like
baseball
a-
team too?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
baseball, isn't it?
Florida marlin.
It's like
Yeah.
teal colored.
Yep.
I remember sports team colors, but not what they do.
I'm like freaked out whenever I go fishing with other people because my cousin ruined it for me. He was a showboat when he was younger, and we were in my dad's boat, and me and my brother on one side, and he was on the other. Pops was sitting in the driving chair, and he just left his line so long, my cousin, and whenever he snapped it back to throw it out, I literally saw the hook like shine off the light go past my past
Ooh.
my eye. Yeah, it was. I
See,
think about that. I think when I
You
think
could
about
have
that once
lost
in
an
a while.
eye.
Yeah, hook my fucking eyeball out.
Not if you wear goggles.
My dad turned around. I was like, dude, you almost hit me in the face. My dad fucking flipped.
Damn, dude, that'd have been brutal. Like,
Yeah, it freaked me out.
I want to catch someone's eye.
I bet you it's probably on that Instagram you follow.
Yeah, I follow it's like a medical abnormality Instagram, and it's always like I'll be scrolling through as soon as I wake up, just Instagram, like, oh, cute girl, cool art, neat, and then there's like, oh, a dismembered person, and then a story on like what happens and how they. It's not just like just gore. They like explain what happened, what they do medically, and all this stuff. It's actually really
The
interesting.
last one he showed was an old man that got attacked by a pit bull. And his legs,
Yeah.
his legs
Yeah.
were
I've never
destroyed.
actually really seen like what happens in a
To it, yeah.
dog mauling or whatever, and it's not pretty.
And I
like
used
at
to have a
all.
pit bull, and his fucking mouth strength was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Was the photo a healed photo? or
No, it was
fresh?
like
Fresh.
right
Fresh.
at the hospital. That's what
Oh,
like
dang.
some of these. This one didn't have an after either. Most of the stuff on this Instagram will have like, I don't know. Let's say your foot gets run over by a steamroller. It'll have a picture of that, and then a picture of what they did like after it was like healed, and then this like huge paragraph on like and links on like, well, what kind of surgeries happen, who does these surgeries, what kind of doctors and like schools. It's just really informative like that, and it's super. I don't know, it's super interesting, but it makes me like if I see stuff in the morning, I'm like real careful for the rest of the day because I work in a kitchen with like knives, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna lose a finger today.
What a time to be alive.
Right?
What did you tell Zach's brother if you?
Oh yeah, if I do ever lose a finger though, I've always wanted 4 fingers, like a cartoon character. But like, if I ever do lose a finger at work, I told him just like kick it under, and like I don't want to find it so they re-sew it on. Like I want to be one less finger.
Use it to garnish a Bloody Mary.
There you go.
Squeeze it out.
I was like, we can get it later. Like we're not gonna leave it in the kitchen, but like it's got to be past the point of like putting it back on.
I was imagining the next like morning crew come in, they do a quick sweep real quick, and the fucking finger just slides out.
I feel like if that happened, they'd be like, fucking Johnny. They'd know, dude. They'd know it was me.
Probably the first thing they'd say is, "Who closed last night?"
That's exactly what would
They didn't
be.
do shit.
That's awesome.
Nate, what have you been up to?
Get out of my head, bro. I was
Oh,
just
I'm
about to
sorry.
ask him the same thing.
I saw you guys yesterday.
You
So,
So in that times frame,
we
watched the.
we watched the Bucks game, and then I watched the
Giannis.
Golden State game too.
I started to watch it, and my computer just started messing up, and I went, can't do it.
It was really good.
was
It was like within the Rockets pretty much led the whole game, but they about fucked it up at the end. But
See,
it was
like
a good
you
game.
said, your ritual is like you wake up, you scroll, and you could do that. Mine is I go take a shit, and I immediately look up NBA highlights,
yeah.
a recap. So
If
can
I
see
don't
what's
watch
going
them, I
on.
do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
No, I do that, and I go through my, if I get up a little bit earlier than I need to go to work, because sometimes I get up like half an hour before I have to go to work.
Yeah.
But if I do that, I'll go
You
through
can
like
do
my
that, though.
SoundCloud feed. I know, I live like 10 minutes away in a walk. But if I do that, I wake up and go through like my Instagram, Facebook, and SoundCloud feed. That's usually what I do to start my day.
I can't log into my SoundCloud.
Why?
Well, my phone is AIDS, and every time I try to log into it, I know for a fact I've logged in. Like I have 3 accounts, and I was logged into one, and then one day it was just like, hey, you have to log into one of these, and every time I click on it, my phone's just like, nah.
Can't you log in with your Facebook? Because I don't remember any of my info, so like I just log in
That's
with
what
my
I do
Facebook.
too.
Yeah, but I won't even let me do that. Like when I go to pick a whatever one to click to log
Yeah.
into, it just
create a new SoundCloud then, bro. Get 4 going on.
Yeah, that's all you
man.
need is a 4th one, man.
Fourth
That'll be
one.
perfect.
That's how I am with emails, because you need
Problem solved.
emails for everything,
I
but
have
I always
3.
forget the info. I've got like 30 emails out there, and they're all like kind of Johnny Terror. It's like Johnny Terror 1, Johnny Terror 23, Johnny _Terror.
I
1.
have 3 that I actually know the passwords to because I made multiple emails so I could get multiple free trials
I like
There
it.
you
to,
go.
to everything that's
When
ever
PS4
existed.
first came out, that's what I did. Yeah, I made like some goofy ones just to play for free money.
Yeah. Do you get like free games then doing that? Is that what happens?
No, you just get like PSN so you can play shit online.
What's PSN?
PlayStation Network.
Oh.
PS Plus.
Oh,
think
see, I
is
have
what
that
it
on.
is.
I have a PS3, and so there's the PSN on that. It's just
Yeah, they're
different.
about to-
Are they getting rid of
I'm
it?
sure
It wouldn't
they're
be
gonna
worth-
shut that down eventually.
It wouldn't be worth paying for it at all. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Not for a PS3.
I mean, I pretty much have mine just so I didn't have to. Like, I keep my Netflix and Hulu
Yeah,
and all
no,
that shit on it.
absolutely.
And I don't really play games. Like, I started playing, what's that game I'm playing, Nate? I can't remember what it's called.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, it's 3.
It's 3?
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption?
No, it doesn't
it's not
matter.
on there.
It doesn't matter. Somebody gave me a game at work, and I've been playing it, and it's real fun. But I, for the
Mortal
life
Kombat?
of me, can't remember it. No. Yeah, it's after the apocalypse.
Oh, Fallout.
Oh,
3.
Fallout. There we go.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
think of
yeah.
the name. That's
Alright.
kind of fun. It's pretty fun. My
Good.
character went from a good guy to a bad guy, like
Immediately.
real fucking.
Have
quick.
you? Is it the Game of the Year edition?
I don't know.
There's a
know
there's a
what that
point in
means.
the game where once you hit a certain level, there's a perk you can get, and you can cut people's fingers off when you kill them, and this dude buys them for money.
What?
I'm not even. Yeah, I can't remember
that
what it's
game's
called.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I guess there's a vault. I don't know. I haven't found any other vaults yet, but that's like a thing in it.
There's a
And
bunch. Yeah.
I guess there's one where like everybody in its name is Gary, and so that's like all they're saying. And it's
Yeah.
like, Gary, Gary, and like I've heard so many people talk about that I'm just on this quest to fucking find that vault.
Without googling it, you're just gonna
Yeah.
walk. Oh
Yeah.
wow, have fun.
Is that where am I supposed to Google? Things?
Well, I
'Cause
mean, like,
currently I'm just free balling, not free ball. I don't know what the word I was
Old
looking
school,
for there.
man. You got to find your own way. That's
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
having fun,
immersion.
dude. I don't know how to play
Immersion.
games.
Do you play games at all, Zach?
It's been a while.
Been a while.
I have been known to play games in the past, sometimes a lot. But most of it was in childhood.
Yeah.
And I sort of, once I got super into music, I sort of stopped playing games.
Yeah.
Because I'm more interested in like having a product when I'm done with my time.
Feel that.
That's
True.
kind of
True.
why I don't like playing games. You finish it and then you're like, well,
That's why I like.
I don't know.
On
It's
to the
weird to
next.
me.
That's why I like playing basketball, because I used to play a lot of Call of Duty, but it was just repetitive over and over. And then, but with basketball, it's fucking. You got cards. You can.
That
you
game
can't
does
trade.
look
I was about to
fun.
say trade, and my head went into Pokemon mode. You can trade. You can fucking battle, son. You can do whatever you want. Like you go through like playoffs, and then you have like an entire another section of shit you got to do, and then you have an entire another section of online shit you can do.
Yeah.
Battle, smack cheeks.
See, I like the idea that nowadays online stuff you can play games with other people. Like I grew up with a Nintendo and a Sega, so that's literally where all of my gaming is. It's like those kind of side
Platformers,
platforms.
yeah.
Those are my like if they started making those again, I'd be a gamer.
Yeah.
But everything else is there's just too much going on.
Get a Switch.
That's the Nintendo thing.
You know?
Yeah.
Does your son play any games?
He does. I don't let him bring him when he comes to me.
Yeah.
True.
Fuck it. He's
uh,
got to take a break from it.
We go a little more technology free when he comes to me,
That's what's up.
just so he has some time to reset a little bit.
Yeah.
And where we usually hang out is sort of out in a little more in nature, out in the country.
Nice.
Very nice.
And I want him to experience being out in the country, not having electronics in his hand.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because he'll be back to the electronics soon enough. We all are.
So it gives me balance,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is super important.
When I'm at work,
Me too. I need it too.
Word.
I'm in front of my laptop all the time making music, so
Yeah.
I need my time away.
Yeah, whenever I work, I always pop out and see how the floor is doing, and I'm like seeing daily memes of old people with their grandkids, and they're just face down in their fucking phones, and their grandpa's just staring out the window.
Yeah, it's odd to see when Grandpa is the one on the phone because I've seen
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
So younger people, I think, are stricken by that a little bit more right now, but it's spreading, and
Yeah.
sometimes old people will neglect the relationship in front of them for the phone in their hand.
Absolutely.
I've seen a lot of it working at a restaurant.
absolutely.
Yeah, I have a lot of issue with big groups of people. So like for me, I love kind of, even though I know it's not the best thing, getting lost in my phone. I love that I can just like take myself away from all of this for a second and still be here and be relevant, but like it can definitely be too much.
I had a moment the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day. It was a couple weeks ago, but it really made me put my phone down a little bit more. I was out walking around. We took the dog for a walk at this park over somewhere by Tip City, and Annie was taking a picture of the pup while she was in the water. Good old picture. Oh, thank you, brother. And I kept walking forward. And I was looking down at my phone, getting a good scroll, and then I looked up and put my phone in my pocket. And as soon as I looked down the entire walkway, I saw this red. It was like seeing a Pokemon. Like its tail was a fox. It was a beautiful red fox, and its tail literally looked like this flame as it went over the trail. And I stopped, and as I stopped, it stopped, and it simultaneously, we looked at each other. I was like, Annie, come here. Get over here now. Slowly, though. And we just sat there and stared at each other, and then as soon as I went like that, it just took off, and I saw the rest of it, and it looked, you guys know, Nine Tails.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was just a big old,
It was
beautiful
white?
tail.
Tail.
No, it was red, but like its tail was just in
Fox-
flames.
Foxes are
Yeah, that was the
pretty.
first
They're
time I've
pretty
seen like
creatures.
a real red one. I was just like, dude, did I just
They
just
kind of
experience a Pokemon?
they kind of act like cat dog hybrids.
Do you guys have friends that have them
No.
as pets?
I've never seen a pet fox. No.
There was one girl I knew a long time ago. She had one, but then the cops got called, and the cops showed up and just killed it.
That's
Yikes.
horrible.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Lesson number one:
Yeah.
don't call the cops.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
kill your fox.
And
No.
and then I think our friend Donnie, I think he had one, like a white one. But if you have them as pets, they go to your couch and like burrow holes. into
Because
your
it's
sofa
natural.
cushions.
For
Yeah,
them.
and they just find a nice warm spot for it. So they're kind of destructive.
Yeah, I mean they're
Don't let-
wild animals.
Yeah, don't
They're
let
not-
the videos you see. Like, whatever you see, like, people with, like, chimpanzees as pets.
Oh, hell no, dude.
No.
You get killed easily because they'll
That's
think they're
another
playing.
thing. We were looking up. You were telling me about we were looking up random stuff again.
I told him about a story of a gentleman that had chimpanzees, like, not as pets, but he was a caretaker of them. And he gave a birthday cake to one of the chimpanzees, and the other chimp saw it and got jealous, which is really creepy because it's like our primal nature, like showing.
Why didn't I get any fucking birthday cake?
And so what they did was, I guess somebody accidentally left one of the gates unlocked for the group of chimpanzees, and they busted out. Didn't bust out; they walked right out, pretty much. But found the dude and bit all of his fingers off.
They took off part of his face.
Ripped his face off, ripped his dick off.
Yeah,
They
like
went-
that's not even, that's a thing. Like that.
And then
Wow.
They're so strong.
Then we
like,
Googled hairless chimpanzees.
They're
The
muscular.
Scariest
Yeah,
thing
they're-
ever. They can stand
a lot of
about
power.
as tall as me. And
That's just why I don't think you
Ugh.
need to have wild animals as pets. Like it's weird enough that we have dogs and cats and fish in our homes, and we like do that. But like, you don't need wild animal. You don't need a chimpanzee.
no.
You don't need one for many reasons, like safety being one, but the other is like they're not meant to hang out in a home with you. I don't know.
Like any kind of crazy. We used to have it was a mixture of like a domestic house cat, but it had bobcat in it.
Yeah.
Because of its ears, it had like a little swoosh, and it was fucking big. But it was just a mean little thing, and they're like, "Oh no, it's fine." I was a kid at the time, kind of scarred me from big cats.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Nah, man. Every time you guys leave, that thing just fucking looks at me and just gets real evil. Tiny. I'm about the size of it. It could probably eat me right now. Don't leave me alone."
I just
it's
didn't-
thinking about it.
Yeah,
It's
like,
over there,
ooh,
just waiting for the right time.
Exactly.
I could eat you.
I just didn't like cats in general when I was younger because they were just assholes,
See,
like
I-
mischievous.
Dude, I never had an asshole cat. When I was younger, I was like 5 years old, and we went to this like friend of my mom's who lived on a farm, and they were inside talking, and I was outside petting the cats. And there were two cats that I thought were fighting, but they were having sex.
Making love.
And I pulled the top one off because they were going like, "Mwah," and I literally thought they were fighting. So I pulled the top one off. That didn't work out so well. I got bit and scratched up really bad in the arm, and then had to go and like get shots and
Rabies,
stuff. Yeah, I had
yeah.
to like get shots and stuff, and like it was all funny afterwards, right? But as I got older, like that was the only time I saw the dick-headed cat. Every other cat I've ever met had been nice until like I lived with someone not too long ago, and they had a cat that was just. It made me almost scared of cats, dude. The cat was mean.
To be fair, you pulled that cat off of
No,
a
I
woman
know.
he was fucking.
I know,
That cat
I-
was not a dickhead.
No, but I'm saying
You're
that's
the
the only
dickhead.
true that's the only time until
You've
like
been bit
years
by a
ago.
cat.
Yeah, that
I
I've
mean, if
had
you ever
any-
do that to me, buddy, you're
oh,
gonna
absolutely. And like,
I might
looking
not
back on
bite
it, I
you.
don't know, man. I had good intentions, dude. I
I'll
had
fucking
great
bite you, dude.
intentions. They like that cat was not happy. It destroyed my arm.
Yeah,
It destroyed my arm, and I was like crying, and I like in my head I was like gushing blood, but it probably wasn't gushing blood. But like my mom's like, we came running out because you were screaming, and then we realized what happened when you told us this.
The cat had a
And, like,
boner.
I remember my mom like wiping me off, getting me to the car, like you need to go to the hospital because they thought I needed stitches because the way it bit, and then I was like shaking my arm, and I remember my mom crying and laughing, and she's like, "Yeah, I was upset, like I was sad for you because you were scared and in pain, but at the same time, what you did was hilarious." And I was like, "Thanks."
She's
thanks."
not wrong.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, parents
man.
are merciless sometimes, but
you have
that's
to be. I feel like.
yeah. I mean, you harden up a little bit after the kid wakes you up.
How many kids do you have?
I only have one, but after he says, "Hey, Dad," in the middle of a nap enough times, you're just like, "Arr."
How old is he?
He's 11 now.
How is that? See, I live with my nephew and help raise him, and like he just turned 4, and he's getting opinions and like reasons and stuff, and it's neat.
Oh yeah, my kid is into the internet and he watches a lot of YouTube. So sometimes talking to him is like talking to a live YouTube video. He's really into history,
Oh, nice.
and so he sort of mimics the way they tell the history stories on there, and he can memorize that stuff almost word for word. And I'll be driving in the car and he'll just lay some history on me for like 15 minutes.
Oh,
That's
nice.
And
awesome.
I try so hard to like understand what he's saying, but man, it gets deep sometimes.
How long have you been out of school? When was the last time you were in school?
I haven't been in school since 2002.
Like how different is it than whenever he brings his homework home? Because my niece, I'll look at her homework and that shit is like years ahead of where I
Well,
was at that age.
really?
yeah, I'm going to agree with that. And also, as a lot of people out there have heard, the math has has jumped the
Yeah.
proverbial shark. They've gone a
It
little.
looks way different.
They
now,
go
man.
hard in the weird math these days,
Yeah.
and it's causing a lot of unrest among some
I've been
parents.
seeing
Like
these-
the methods
Yeah.
of like
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
like
just
videos
make-
of methods and stuff, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, but if you as a dad like show them like, well, this is how I did it, it's way easier, and then you do it, did they have to?
The teachers will bitch at it.
Yeah,
'Cause you
like-
probably got to show your work.
Yeah.
It was more answer oriented when I was in the game,
Yeah.
in the math game. We were
Yeah.
just trying to get the answer, and it didn't matter how. And nowadays, they're a little more method oriented, and that's not wrong. It's just a very different approach.
Yeah.
And honestly, we've been programmed in a certain way, and then when they come at us with this new method, obviously, it's going to be bewildering.
Yeah, I
Definitely makes you feel old, though.
I-
Oh yeah, for sure.
When I was younger, I was like super good at math, and having to like make everything such a method pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it hindered my like knowledge, because like they'd be like, show your work, and it'd be a math problem, and I would just put the answer and just write
Like, I did
because
this
that's
in my
what it
head.
is.
Yeah.
Like that. The method is just slowing me down. Like I know what it is.
See, I had a teacher tell me, though, we're not trying to get the right answer. We're trying to show you how to process things and like
Yeah.
learn that way. It's not
I would
about what
accept-
you're learning. It's about how to learn.
I would have
Yeah.
that a little bit more in instead of just do it. That's what I was.
Yeah.
was
I think it's
do it.
dependent on like how a person learns. Like it's to each their own. But
Yeah.
I don't.
I remember my dad. He would look at the shit that I would get. He was just like, all right, it's a little bit different from from what I was learning. And then my niece, she was in. Shit, man, she's almost 17, or she's almost 18 now. Whenever she was in like middle school, I'd look at her homework and I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. I can't even remember. You gotta refresh my memory on some of this. And
Yeah,
she
I've
starts,
seen-
and I'm like, I don't even.
I've
know
seen
what
some
you're
of those
talking
new
about.
methods online, and like I graduated in 06, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, and this is weird. And I guess I've heard people say it does make more sense if you understand it, but like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. That makes me wanna. When I see stuff like that, I wanna go back in school, but then I don't wanna have like a crazy debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Do you guys have any debt?
That's
yeah.
how they get you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
I think it's like in the trillions right now. My brother's part of it, and I ask him every day. I'm like, how much do you owe? When he graduated his second time at college, he went to 4 years in Florida and then 4 years in Philadelphia. And
It's like
he-
$200,000 probably. or some
when he
shit.
graduated, I was like, how much do you owe? He's like, 80 grand. And then I asked him just a couple months ago, I was like, how much do you owe now? He's like, dude, it's like I do 150,000 now. I was
Yeah,
like, what are you
that's
gonna do
crazy,
about
dude.
that? And he's like, I'm just gonna fucking leave the country. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I
Take
look,
the money and run.
I
All
look
right.
back and I'm like, all right, I owe this much because I went to fucking hair school. Like I didn't even do anything cool. I went and learned how to do highlights.
He's not even doing what, like,
And I'm not even
pretty
doing
sure
that
he
now.
sits at a desk and he fucking is an apprentice. He's not. I was like, damn, dude, that fucking blows. That would make me so mad to go to college and come out and not be doing what I was doing, and then
Yeah.
have fucking.
I feel like that's common.
Oh yeah.
It's very
Oh
common.
yeah. Whenever I was in college, or when I never went to college. When I was in high school.
When you were deep sea fishing.
Yeah.
In college, deep sea fishing.
When I was in high school, I wanted to do architecture, and I spent like 3 years in it. And then my third year, the same architect teacher I had, he was just like, "Stop." He's like, "You're not like if you're gonna go to college, you're not gonna start doing this.
Yeah.
So just stop now." And like, I spent like 3 years. I was like, "This is what I'm gonna fucking do, boys." And after that, it just sent me in this crazy spiral. Like, who am I? What am I doing now?
Well, that's a good thing. Little wake up call.
I want to see the buildings you'd create, though.
Yeah, no, we would
I bet
map
they'd
them
be
out and shit.
wild.
I used to cut like those foam boards and like
Oh,
build
make like 3D
houses.
things. Yeah.
I
If you
made,
saw those
like,
3D puzzles where you can like make the White House and shit.
no.
Ah,
Those things are
yeah,
dope.
yeah.
Those things are crazy. I can't do a regular puzzle, but like
I don't have the patience.
that's you know what
just
I don't
have
like?
the patience.
What bothers me with puzzles, like it's cool and all that, but it's not a puzzle. I can see the picture on the box.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cooler if it was just like
Figure
you
it
didn't know,
out.
You didn't know it was a puzzle on what you were creating, and you didn't know until you finished it, and then
Yeah.
or like then you got going. You're like, oh, it's a fire truck. That's a puzzle.
My grandma would like start a puzzle every night, or not every night, but like every couple of nights. Like I would we'd go to school, and I would come home that night. She'd be sitting there with like the puzzle box, and she'd just be working on the
Yeah,
the
that's what my
edge
grandma
of
does.
it, and then the next night I'll come back, and she'll have like a whole chunk of it, and then she would destroy like 1,000 pieces in under a week, and then. Me as an adult, I was like, man, I remember those good old times with my grandma, and so I would I have like 4 puzzles.
Have you
1,000
started
pieces.
them?
I get the edge and I'll get a little bit of it, and that would take me
Yeah.
that would take me a week. But at that time, I was living with my mom. She had cats, and so like I was like I had to finish it that night, or the cats.
You got to be a grandma to have like puzzle powers.
Yeah.
My grandma does puzzles, and then she glues them together and hangs them in the
Same.
garage.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
How
The
many she
garage
got?
is full. There's at least 15 puzzles.
Nice.
They're like all like Thomas Kincaid paintings. Do you know those? Like they're like a pretty cottage and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my grandma had one of those paintings. It looked like
grandmas do in general. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she has like an Afghan of his art too. It's cool art.
Ooh.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he like died of an overdose or something. Is it something like that?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
I'm pretty sure he died of an overdose, and he was, but not like it was because of like I think prescription stuff or
Yeah.
whatever from an
It
injury. and then-
is a slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
People get hurt, and then the painkillers escalate
Yeah,
because the pain's still there.
yeah, that's some truth there. All right, well, Nate, do you have anything you want to talk about before we go on to here?
Oh no, let's get this going. This is what I came for up
All
in here.
right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go into the part where we have the special guest of the day, Zack Hill, a.k.a. Tangled Branches. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Zack Hill. I am from Miamisburg, Ohio. I live in Miamisburg, Ohio.
There you
I haven't been there my whole life, but I've come and gone a little bit. But that's where I'm currently residing. And I've been making music since I was 15 years old.
Really?
I went to Ace Music Superstore, and I bought a Squire Stratocaster.
Hell yeah.
And the little no-name amp, I don't really remember what the first amp was called. It wasn't a brand that I'm familiar with these days. It sounded terrible, but what I was really going for is I wanted to play metal.
Yeah.
So I bought that Stratocaster, and I bought the Metallica Master of Puppets tablature book, and I bought the Nirvana Unplugged tablature book.
Ooh,
And
I love that.
And I went home, and I just got down on that Stratocaster, and I just went and went. And after a couple of years, I could play almost all of the rhythm guitar from Metallica.
Very nice.
That's crazy.
And then I got into Rage Against the Machine. Then I got into playing Tool.
Hey.
Were you all self-taught then?
Yes.
Okay, word. That's inspiring.
I
then.
did.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
did start to take lessons briefly, and the guy who was giving me the lessons was doing the same thing that I was doing at home.
Oh, so you went
with
"Wait a minute,
myself.
I'm doing
It's like,
this,
thanks,
bro."
guy.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, I just went back and continued teaching myself.
So you started off with guitar then. What other instruments do you play? Or dabble in?
Honestly, guitar is the only one that I'm really going to like claim.
Mhm.
But you know, I can hold it down on hand drums. I really enjoy playing in drum circles and stuff.
Hell
Have
yeah.
a good time with it. And I can sit down at a piano and play some chords and, you know, tickle the ivories a little bit. But honestly, guitar is the only thing that I have like a decent degree of fluency
Mhm.
in, and I can use it for songwriting. And I use it mostly in Tangled Branches. I use it as a textural sort of sound.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff in Tangled Branches that doesn't necessarily suggest guitar. It doesn't sound like a guitar, but I did it with a guitar.
Very nice.
And that, to me, it adds to the personalization of the music.
Absolutely.
Because
Your
I'm
own sounds.
yeah, because I use electronic means to produce the drums and the synthesizers and the bass, and that stuff is, you know, set to the clock of the computer, and it's got this inhuman sort of perfection to it. And then I add those guitar layers to put in the secret sauce. That's like the humanity in Tangled Branches, because the guitar parts are never quite right with the perfect drum beat and the perfect bass, and sort of comes in and out. Sometimes I'll play a little ahead of the beat. Sometimes I'll play a little behind, and
Yeah.
like it gives it a feel,
Nice.
which is it takes time to do that with electronic music.
Word.
So I was describing my guitar sort of study, and then after I've been playing guitar for a number of years, one of my buddies gave me Fruity Loops,
Mm-hmm.
and I borrowed my sister's laptop and put Fruity Loops on it. And at first I was just making compositions that were just loops. I had like this library of loops that I would throw in there and just like stack them up and sort of try to go for a Beastie Boys sort of sound of like samples and like
Yeah.
fitting it together and making it sort of funky and weird. And
When was this? Like that you first got doing your thing or experimenting, I guess, electronically?
I was in my early 20s, so probably like 22 maybe.
Okay.
But I started playing with Fruity Loops, and everything I made was like sort of cheesy and derivative because it was made out of just other people's loops. And that sort of simmered in the background, and I didn't do a lot with it or my guitar for a number of years, and sort of I don't know, lost touch with music making. And I was still playing here and there. I mean, I always pick up an acoustic guitar and strum every now and again, and like go through the songs that I still know how to play. Make sure I know how to play them for when I'm at a festival.
Did you ever write anything on guitar that was your own, like any guitar original?
Yes, I definitely had a phase in my mid-20s where I was writing a decent amount of material on acoustic guitar and singing it. And that really led me to electronic music because I was so self-conscious about my voice that it was ruining my enjoyment.
I got you.
And the dissonance between sort of the people I was looking up to and their skill level and how it sounded and how it made me feel versus how my music was sounding and making me feel, it was so far apart that I couldn't deal with it.
Like discouraging.
It was
type
absolutely soul crushing. So I realized that, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily had like one moment where I realized that I had to stop singing, but I started making instrumentals, and then that was the first time I came up with something where I was like, dang, this is really good, and I like listening to this.
Yeah.
So that was fairly recently, probably like 2013 maybe.
Really?
When I finally came up with a track where I was like, wow, I really like this track. I'm going to share this with other people.
And then what brought you to, like, when did you decide, I'm ready to kind of like show this to other people, let other people kind of enjoy what I'm creating?
It happened from an underground party. It was Barning Person with the Tortoise Crew.
Okay.
And I went to that as like a spectator, but I had been DJing for a while, and I had a DJ rig. So I brought my DJ rig, and I had it in my car just in case.
So you're like ready, though.
Lo and behold, there were gaps in the schedule. So I got on like really early on in the day. I played like, I think the first set. So I was playing like Polish Ambassador and like Mux Mool and stuff along that lines that was like a little bit hip-hoppy, sort of set the vibe early. Maybe some thievery type stuff, like funky down-tempo and whatever. And then the Tortoise guys came on, and they were playing originals. And it absolutely blew my mind how funky and weird these guys were getting, and that they had done it all by themselves. And I was so blown away, and it really sparked a fire in my heart. I was like, I'm decent at DJing, and I have fun with it, but what these guys are doing is, to me, so much more inspiring, and I have to rise to this. And like, I had a talk with Chris Wilson at Barning Person, and he was like, dude, you need to finish tunes and get them out, man. Like he straight up, he told me what? He was like, dude, you got to make tunes. So I went home from Barning Person the next day. Like, I did not sleep that night. And it was a really good party. If you guys were there or remember it, but
Where was it?
oh,
And
man.
what year too?
It was an epic party in the middle, like out in the middle of nowhere.
I really don't remember geographically in Ohio where it was,
Yeah,
other than like pretty far north of Dayton.
Yellow Springs, Xenia
I remember
country.
that.
Okay.
But it was at somebody's house, and it was like in their garage. But one thing I remember about that party that was different than any other party I've been to is the homeowner. It was like the kid's dad who was having the party. The homeowner worked in business machines, and like he recycled fax machines or something, parted them out. I don't know what he did, but this man had an abundance of copier machines and fax machines on the property.
Oh yeah.
So these spun out kids get out a baseball bat at dawn, and he's like, "You want to smash some fax machines?" It's like,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, the answer, of course, is yes. I mean, who doesn't want to smash some fax machines? So there was a little real life office space going on there.
What's that song? They should have that song playing in the background. Whoever was playing
It wasn't,
Never seen
unfortunately. I think actually Nick Sutherland was playing in the background.
That's awesome.
Mr. Subsonic Riddle. It was
Hell
before he
yeah.
changed to King Terps.
King Terps.
Because he played probably like 3 hours right around sunrise. He just went and went.
Holy shit.
It's my ham.
I drove home from Barning Person. I hadn't slept at all. I took my ass on home, and I didn't go to sleep. I went to my laptop, and I opened up Fruity Loops, and I made the first Tangled Branches song.
Nice.
And to this day, the production level of the song isn't where I'm at now, like sonically and stuff. But to this day, I still appreciate like the artistic spark in that song.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And
I have a few friends that like when they started making music, they would show me like years ago when like their first couple songs, and they're like every time they start playing, they're like, nope, I hate this stuff.
Because it was their original.
Yeah,
So I feel that.
but like Tetra did that one with me the first time, and he was sitting there. I was sitting there listening. I was like, dude, this shit, fuck it. It's just it's simple and it's smacked.
Yeah.
Like you come across those nice gems that are like really simple, but they hit just so right.
Getting
And
a
that's
song
how
to
it
slap
was.
is an art, man.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes time and effort and a lot of trial and error to make your electronic music dominate a sound system. And I'm a long way from like that Yeti level where you're just beating it up. But I'm getting, better with each song.
Yeah.
Better with each show.
No, I love your sets, dude.
Yeah.
Like even before I met you as a person, when I saw you, like probably at One Eye Jack.
Yeah, that's
probably
what I
the
was
first
going to
couple
say,
times,
too.
Because your stuff is just very like, like I like listening to it. I feel like I'm in an electronic forest. Like, does that make sense? That's what I feel like. Like, I don't know.
You are absolutely picking up what I'm putting down.
I love it.
Because that's my vibe, essentially. It's a marriage of nature and technology and funk. I like to be optimistic with my tunes. A lot of times it's my way of getting myself out of a low mood is to write some music that is a higher mood and try to pull myself up and out. And it works not only for me while I'm doing it, but then when I play those songs for others, they pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I have one particular song, it's titled Letting Go, that I wrote the morning after having like a rough emotional night. And I woke up and I wrote this music that isn't sad by any means. I mean, it's actually kind of like, I don't know, happy and a little bit funky and whatnot. And I turned that sad emotion directly into uplifting art. And that's the best example I have of doing that. It doesn't usually happen like that. But that's what I would like to get into, to be able to get hit with like some emotional feels and just turn that right around with no hesitation into something positive for me. And then, other people hear it and they like it too.
See, that's what I do with my paintings because I have a lot of like emotional distress and blah blah blah, and so I literally I go, all right, I'm gonna make a crazy
Ingredients
monster.
for expression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just it. If you can take your bummer times and turn them into something that you find rad and that other people can find rad too, like that's just you just fucked over that emotion. Like you're like, nah, man, I'm taking control of this.
Yes, yes, learning to transmute those difficult emotional times and turn into something good. That's the real medicine, man. That's what art is all about. Music is my chosen art, and I love it. Maybe more than other arts, but it is an art, and just like painting, just like drawing, they all have so much in common.
Just expression through sound.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm just using wiggly air. I paint with that wiggly air.
I like it.
And the better the sound system, the tighter I can make the painting too. So.
Yeah. Why is that? Like,
well, a lot of the sound systems that you play on, particularly when you're starting out, don't reproduce all of the low end
Layers.
that you're right. And often there's not enough clarity in the high end. My songs tend to have a lot of parts and a lot of layers. And if you don't have the proper clarity from the sound system, it gets a little lost. It just becomes like a wash of sound.
Yeah.
But, as I've moved forward show by show, I'm getting into bigger and bigger stuff, and the sound rigs get better and better.
I
And
was about to ask, since you're mixing electronic with a woodsy feel, have you been able to play any shows where you're like deep in the woods, get that good nature vibe?
there was one set that I played at, what was it called? It was the one that Chris Wilson did. Just
Sine waves.
Yeah,
Sine
Sine
Waves.
Waves.
Sine
I
Waves.
think I remember that.
Yes, I played 2 sets at Sine Waves. The first one was a main stage set, which was really fun. A lot of people came out to that. And there's a lot of flow artists and stuff. But the second one was a little bonus set that I did late night. I started at approximately 4:30 a.m. in the woods, like in the woods. You had to walk through some woods to get back there with me.
Me and Jessup both, I think, were there because there were so many people like back there. Like there was like you could hear it like in the distance. But I just remember, if I remember correctly, like if you said it was 4:30 in the morning, I'm like fairly positive because there was like just a bunch of people back there and it was pretty loud. And you get back there, you didn't even know anything was there.
Was that the first year of Sine Waves?
I think so.
No, that was
second.
it was the second.
Second,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was the second then.
Yeah, I think it was on the first day, the first night I showed up, and one of like right when it got late, one of the DJs didn't show up, or they were not able to make it for some reason. But I got to play on that backstage, like right when it started to get creepy. And
I remember.
as soon as I started playing, there's like maybe 4 or 5 people, and then when I looked up again, like it grew into a nice, good little group back there. I was like, man, this is a really sweet woodsy space back here.
Your mom was there.
My mom was
Yeah,
there.
I got really twisted and hung out with your mom for a while. And I woke up cuddling your dog. I remember that.
Rest in peace, Rose. She would escape. Like I would put her in there, and when it was late at night, and she would find the 2 zippers on it, and just shove her nose and open it, and then fucking Dr. Sherman, he walked up and he's just like, "Hey man, is this your dog?" I was just like, "Yeah, where'd you get her?" She's like, "Just out walking around." I grabbed and walked her. I was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much."
It was so rainy that second year. You remember that second day? Or first day?
Oh, dude, yeah, I was laying in my tent. And
Yeah.
I thought that it might get lifted by the air.
Did yours get was it wet at all on the inside?
Just a little bit. It
Oh,
wasn't
damn.
bad. It was good for what was happening, but my God, the thunder was unbelievably loud and close, and like way too close to be in a tent.
The sound, the power was even out, I remember, for like 2 hours.
Yes, yeah, the stage got delayed for
Yeah.
a while because of the storm. I forgot about that.
We had a really sweet hammock deal. All three
Yeah,
of us.
we had
Like,
3
stacked on top of each other, and then had a tarp. But whenever I put the tarp up, it was flat, and so that water just collected, and there happened to be a little hole where it just drenched right on us. And this was like,
We thought we were geniuses,
we
too.
thought
We were like, we're not going to get
I
wet.
had to-
We're
I
all
had
in
to
a
put it
tree.
Like that. I had a teep it, but I did not. But then we're like, fuck this. We're getting soaked. Let's get in my tent. And then when I got in the tent,
It was fucked.
it was flooded. Like we all sat on like a little island.
There's only so much a tent can do.
Yeah, no.
Side note, really quick. Speaking of hammocks, do you want to give a real quick shout out to your fundraiser you've got going on?
Oh yeah, I have a fundraiser. Thank you everybody that's been donating. That's super tight. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Keep going. You can. How dare you? You can find us find it on the Facebook website. It's called Hammocks for the Homeless. Let's help them by raising them up, you know. And then they're gonna come. We're gonna get tarps with them. Somebody brought it up. I was like, man, we gotta get some tarps on top of that. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be very tight. I can't wait.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure you got that out there since you brought that up.
We can do real quick. We can do the best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, best friends. Let your friends wrap you up in style.
Yeah, we make vests and sell vests, DIY vests. Kind of any music you want, any styles, genres, or whatever. Hit us up. We'd love to make you a vest.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah. So back to you.
All right.
What programs are you using currently when you make music?
I make music with FL Studio, and although I have bought a more up-to-date version, I'm still using FL10.
Really?
Which is quite an old version.
But I mean, if you're comfortable with that and it's doing what you needed, like
Honestly, it's just a tool, and it's a tool that I understand.
Yeah.
And software, man, I've seen some changes. I was an 80s kid, so the original computers that I grew up with had like green type on a black background. They were like monochrome, and like we went through all the stages of the floppy disks and like things getting bigger and better, and like, you know, Wolfenstein 3D and Doom, and then the internet. Like this whole timeline, all this stuff has gone down in my lifetime, and I'm just so worn out on software, dude. I'm so tired of upgrading. I'm so tired of learning new stuff. Like, please, for the love of God, just make like one final FL Studio. Just make this FL Studio that I can have for maybe the next 20 years or so, please.
Maybe give it like an update once.
Yeah.
that's how they make that money, though.
I know, man.
You gotta keep it.
I know, I get it too. And there are people who thirst for new technology so they can make new sounds, and they are really into it. And God love them, they deserve that. But I don't need it.
Yeah.
I just would really like to learn something well and get fluent and stay busy with it. And that's about it. But with that said, I'm about to make the jump to the other FL because I'm also in transition between 2 computers.
Ooh.
I have an old laptop containing tons of my music, and then I have a new laptop that so far has only been used for performance, but it has some new stuff on it. And,
Nice.
about to make the jump.
It's got the new space.
I jumped from 9 to 12, and there's a curve, but everything, you can still open all your old projects up and see what they look like in the new one.
Word.
But it's
it's
not bad.
You know Tetra?
Yes.
Yeah, whenever I first met him and went over or I think I saw him play actually before I went over to his house. But his laptop he had, it was just an old laptop, but like he had it all rebuilt on your side like a sleeper laptop. Like it looked like poop on the outside, but when you turned it on, it was awesome. Yeah, I don't think that's what it was. He's like, dude, he's like, I'm not gonna buy a new one. I'll just keep fucking rebuilding this one to be better.
The one that my old one it's the one that sits before you right now. I brought it to the studio today.
Very nice.
But it has seen me through so much. Honestly, like the way I've treated it and the stuff I've taken it to and what we've been through, it has outlasted all expectations. I absolutely owe a debt of gratitude to this laptop. I talk to it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, please, baby.
You got to decorate it beautifully.
I'm like, please, baby, you got to keep going just for a little while longer.
What do you?
We've got miles to go before we sleep, just a few.
What are your plans with it when you're retiring it?
Phew, I don't know, man.
Gonna bury it.
I
I don't know. I might like make art out of part of it.
Yeah.
was gonna say this is. Do you have any wood skills? You ever worked in wood wood shop or anything like that?
Are you a lumberjack?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, well, this is what
I got a
just-
B+.
This is
in
what I
wood shop.
imagined. I imagined a coffee table made of wood, make it really tree, like the trunk of it. Tree, shut the fuck up.
You sound like just the man for this job.
I will do it. My dad showed me a thing or two. Like I'll do
You
it,
won't
but
do it.
but then the top of it would be like a glass top piece, and then have it like have the laptop broken down but stretched out and all of its
So you
pieces.
could see all the like what they do with the
Yeah.
skulls. Have you
Yeah.
seen that where they like break a
Innovative.
skull apart and
Yeah.
put it on things?
So
I like that.
So that way when you go sit down,
Yeah, so
fucking
it looks like a real
put the
tree.
new one on top, work right there, and be like, look at this shit.
I did see a piece of art that was made from the Polish ambassador's old laptop. He, like his motherboard, he used a piece of it to make like a heady wrap or something that he sold for like a pretty high price.
Dude,
Hold on.
some-
That sounds awesome.
It does. Like I wouldn't be opposed to having like my computer processor made into jewelry that I could
Yeah.
wear because I do feel close to this machine. It has enabled so many of my ideas to come to life. It's a really crazy relationship when you think about it.
Yeah, that's a tool that becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, it's an extension.
And to
Yeah.
be able to carry that around.
Especially if you're putting emotion into what you're doing. Like
Yes.
you're literally giving that life. It's
Yeah.
not just that anymore.
Yeah. I had the same idea whenever I volunteered for residence one year. I was doing stagehand, and Papadosio, their bassist, was unstringing his guitar, and he went to throw it away. And as soon as he threw it away, I was like, nah, I could pull all those off and wrap that shit up around something. But somebody ended up taking it out of my bag, so #sad.
You try.
Resonance is a badass festival.
That it
I've
is.
played there on 3 occasions.
That's right, you
and
have.
It's a good time.
How was playing something like that?
It was really dope. The last time, actually, I was playing on the same night as the main Papadosio set. So while the climax of the festival was happening on the main stage, I was playing literally simultaneously on a smaller stage. And it's a lot to ask people to walk away from the big Docio moment and come see me.
Man,
But unfortunately, a lot of people did.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
dude.
I felt very blessed that anyone was willing to walk away from that to come see me for a while. It was
Yeah.
good.
I
Some
know.
people hung out for the whole set. I got them, so to speak. Like
You tangled them
Reeled
up.
them in.
It happens. Like I'll see somebody and I see they start grooving a little bit, and then I'll sort of lock eyes with them and like tractor beam them right on in.
I like
Like
And
you're coming here, buddy.
I know,
Yeah.
I know the first time you played there, it was right before, it was right when I just met you and I got into your music. I was just like, this guy's fucking dope. And I found out that you're playing there.
What year?
What was your first year?
2015, I think, was the year. You were
I see.
playing.
And as soon as I found out you were playing there, I know somebody was playing, and I was like, we gotta fucking go right now. We got a local boy playing in this fucking beautiful festival.
I still meet people who saw that set, and it's really cool, especially when a lot of time passes.
Yeah.
And they still remember it.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's not a big deal if like somebody's like, dude, I saw you last month or whatever. But if somebody's like, dude, I remember you from 5 years ago, that makes my heart pitter patter a little bit. It's like, thank you for remembering. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
No, you please.
What are some other big things you've played at, or some really? I guess it doesn't have even big. Just like, what are some good shows?
The last show I played was the biggest show. I played at the Vogue in Indianapolis, and I was playing support for Thriftworks and the Desert Dwellers.
Yeah,
Ooh.
both
So-
really, really great.
Oh my
Grimy.
goodness!
And
yeah.
what a champion matchup! Like you three. Was
Yeah,
anybody
exactly,
else?
dude. Like,
Well, actually, there was a local guy who played before me.
What kind of music did you play?
He did really good. He was playing, I guess, sort of like global bass music. It had like a tribal feel to it,
Okay.
Okay.
and like a little bit of a psytrance feel, but it was more laid back. But there was a lot of hand percussion and stuff, and like he did some live instrumentation. It was really
Nice.
fun. Like
Nice.
I enjoyed his set, but I got up there and played before Thriftworks, and
Yeah.
I've been listening to Thriftworks for a pretty long time,
Yeah.
so that was an honor. It was cool to like talk to him and
Were
stuff.
you?
and,
Did you
like,
see him at is it Therapy? Yeah, he played Therapy a couple years ago.
I
3
didn't.
years
I
ago?
didn't go to that.
was
I've
a
seen
great
him
show.
quite a few occasions. I didn't go to that particular one.
I think that's the first and only time I saw him, and
Yeah, it's
I've
not
always been a
something I've seen.
fan, so it was a magical
Mhm.
experience to watch him actually perform it. I didn't know. I thought a lot of like the vocals that he did in it were already pre-recorded, but whenever he did it live, it was through a mic. He just distorted
Yep.
it. And
Yeah, he was using the Pioneer, the DJM 800 or 900, whatever they had at the place, and using like a robot effect through that on his voice.
Yeah.
But he's really good at doing that, and he got people hyped, dude. Probably the most hyped moment of the show, all sets included, was probably during him, because there's this girl who was there celebrating her birthday, and as birthday girls do, she was on one.
of course,
And when he played her jam, which you knew was coming, he was going to play her jam on her
Yeah.
birthday. It happened.
yeah.
She put on a twerk shop for all
Hell
of
yeah.
this. So
Is that what you dream? Like, do you dream to like look out at your audience and someone's like putting on a show? And you're like, yeah, dude, my music's doing that for
absolutely,
you.
dude. Absolutely. I mean, people express themselves in different ways. They don't have to be doing something extreme, but I want to see people feeling good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
ultimately, like one of the things with dance music, one of the purposes that it serves for society is to help free people's minds, because there's usually a big barrier for people to dance comfortably in front of others.
Mhm.
So the dance music scene, when you infuse it with various substances and the certain type of music that goes on there, a lot of the intention is to free people on the dance floor and get people.
And it
Yeah.
feels fucking
I
good.
know,
Oh, dude, it
When
feels
you're-
so
when you
good.
find like when you're like listening to a producer that's like making you like, I'm gonna dance however crazy I want right now.
That's
and,
when
like,
you
I'm
know.
vibing with this. That's when it's like
I
this,
couldn't
dude.
dance like I wouldn't dance at dances and shit
Yeah.
until I was probably like 18, 19, because I started seeing
Yeah.
like electronic music, and the weird way like everyone just kind of danced real fucking weird.
Yeah,
and
dude. Like I didn't
just
feel.
like
I
the-
dance with my hands a lot.
Yeah.
And
I
was
can't
like,
move
I
my
don't know
hands
about
to this day.
man.
I just
I'm a very
my
hands.
hands-
Let 'em
my
go.
feet stay still. My hands are wiggling.
You got to Ricky Bobby. You just got to kind of put them up and just let them go wherever they want to go.
When you find that person though that's putting on music that like you go, I don't give a fuck. I'm dancing to
Yeah.
this. That's when it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I hear people say things like, I don't know how to dance, and like that's
Doesn't
kind of
matter.
silly, man. There's no a know-how
Yeah,
of
dude.
dancing.
Let that bass let you
I
wiggle.
close my eyes and just I just feel it, man.
You don't have to know how. Like,
I like the-
doing it is how you know how.
Yeah.
You have to jump first. You have to leap.
You know?
And I'm really fortunate to be a part of a group of people who dedicate ourselves to trying to make that happen
Yeah.
on a large scale if we
Yeah,
can.
I think as a whole, this scene's very just like, dude, just do what you want and be happy and like make other people happy. Like
Yes.
the whole scene in general. I mean, you have your things, here and there, but like overall, it's just be you, dude, and be happy you're you.
Yes, it's ultimately about freedom and
Yeah.
you
I was
know
gonna say, I like
psychological progress. with ourselves.
Unity of it, bringing everyone together.
That too.
Like whenever you look out, like you see the crowd dancing. It's like no matter what, they came here to just have fun and be comfortable to dance.
Yep.
And yeah, the way people interact with, quote unquote strangers, when you get into that sort of environment, then nobody's really a stranger anymore.
Yeah, especially if you have certain substances that kind of aid in the assistance of wanting to form connections.
Yes, letting down the guard enough to empathize with the people around you.
Yeah, because then you can see them on other times when you're not on those substances and be like, bro, like we had those connections. We listened to beautiful music, looked at beautiful art. Like it's really a connecting scene in general. It feels good.
That's how I connect my memories is with good times with my friends.
Yeah.
As I'll describe that, but like that one fucking tune, boys. You
Dude,
remember?
I can't remember anything, but I remember like that great show. I remember that great show, that drop that made me go, oh. Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of which, great show. I just shared the story with my manager at work yesterday, and I want to share it with you guys now.
Please do.
Chino Marino of Deftones, in my opinion, is the crowd surfing champion of the world. I was at the Newport Music Hall in Columbus, Ohio. I was on the White Pony Tuner tour. The White Pony Tuner. Chino stage dives, and at the Newport, there's a sunken floor area where the general admission people are standing. He stage dives and makes it all the way to the end of that, and they push him up a flight of stairs. It's about maybe 4 or 5 stairs.
Like while he's on.
So he has not hit the ground yet.
Beautiful.
He is still on hands, on people, going up, and he's using a wired microphone, by the way. It was not wireless. So he has this long mic cable.
He's got the risk.
Yes, and they put him all the way up the stairs, all the way to the bar, which is in the back of the club. They drop him off on the bar. He crouches down, one knee on the bar, puts the microphone up to his mouth, and plays Weezer, Say It Ain't So. He finishes singing the song, dives back into the crowd, goes all the way back to the stage, never touches the ground.
With his wired mic?
With his wired
That
microphone.
That's tough.
Yeah,
never lost sound. Like, never
no.
touched the ground.
I staged
Chino
up
Marino,
one time,
champ.
and it sucked. It was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I, my kidneys hurt afterwards, and it was not as fun as others. So doing that plus performing.
When did you stage dive?
Ghost Maid.
Oh, I could.
I literally, we went to that show, and I went, you know what? There's people stage diving. I've never done this in this amount of time in my life. I'm fucking doing it. And it took me forever to not get anxious. I was like, I'm crawling up here, and I crawled up and I jumped out, and it hurt. It hurt.
Watching that would be
That's why they
hilarious.
tell you not to
Probably
do
was.
it, man.
Yeah,
it hurts.
I literally just watched a video of the craziest stage dives, and outside of they didn't go deep into metal where there's dudes jumping off
yeah, dude, 30 feet up.
It was just some big Coachella style shows of just people jumping in massive crowds, but that's probably the best crowd surf I've ever heard. I've seen I just watched a video of some dude that was from a band. He was a guitarist, and he just walked up to the bar and just let me get a shot.
I saw that too.
He's like, oh wait, check this shit out. This is my solo, and he just sitting there playing, looking at the bartender. He's like, let me get a shot. Come on, let's go. This shit's nothing to me, son.
Yeah, that's the power of practice.
Yeah,
you make that muscle memory that will play the song even if you're mentally not really there. That's the key to all those people who perform intoxicated. It's just their body up there doing it on their own.
Yeah,
and they are left down.
Yeah, they're just enjoying the show.
Yeah,
I've seen and heard DJs come up and performers and whatnot. They come up and who was it? I think it was Levitation Jones. I don't know. I don't want to say his name. I don't know who it was. I'm not too sure. But they came up and they're just I'm tripping too hard. But I'm gonna try and do this and fucking through a really sticky set.
That's because once you bypass the anxiety of what's happening, it just happens.
Yeah,
it just happens.
That's why
there's a line for tripping and playing back audio for a crowd for sure. Because if you hit a certain place and everything goes echoey, you're kind of done.
Yeah.
If you're under the echo threshold, you might make it. If things are just like swooshy and swirly, you might be good to go.
Yeah.
But when all the drum beats echo, they go.
Then it's just like,
We're like on a delay. And
Yeah, just
trying to
forget
line
about
up.
it. You just sit down, man.
come out.
Hey, someone bring me some water. I'm done.
Like,
Hey, give me the fucking cannoli, yeah.
Can of corn and I'll be fine.
Diet Coke. Somebody bring me a Diet Coke.
So what kind of music are you into currently? Like, what are your top? Like, I listen to this on my way to work or at work.
I've been listening to in the car, Random Rab. He has a new album called Anew, spelled Anew. That's really good. It's mostly instrumental, but he does a good amount of singing also, sort of a balance between the two. And his organic instrumentation and his mastery of melody and the way he weaves it all together and makes it really emotional and beautiful is second to none. Like, I have mad respect for him. I played support for him in Indiana last year, and it was a really beautiful show. It was a great privilege, and his setup is super dope. And while I'm talking about Random Rab, this guy has a bunch of incandescent bulbs that he uses as his stage set, and they're set to various heights, and they sort of blink on and off with the music, and it's really cool. It's like it's got this old-timey vibe, but at the same time, like, you've never seen anybody do that, so it's almost futuristic, old-timey.
What genre is it?
Random Rab covers a whole lot of ground, but if you want to, like, really loosely sort of put him in a genre, I would say mostly down-tempo.
Okay.
He plays, the beats are primarily electronic, though he does use acoustic drums and acoustic drummers.
Nice.
He'll feature hand percussionists in his tunes. So it's a good mixture of, like, acoustic and electronic. But he's just super fluent, and he's got mad skills. So I've been listening to that one a lot, coming and going from work. And also, I'm really into Krungbin right now.
Dude, right?
Which it kind of fell into my lap through a sort of YouTube happenstance. I was just watching videos on YouTube, and I saw a thumbnail of Krungbin, and it was a picture of Laura Lee, the bass player.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just see what's that. I'll give that a little clicky-do. So I gave that a little clicky, and it was the song August 10th, live on KEXP.
Got you.
And that is the smoothest groove.
Dude.
It is so stellar and so
Everything
beautiful.
about them.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. Like, everything.
Yeah.
Me and Zach, we watched their first weekend live show on Coachella, of Coachella on YouTube, and so crazy. They had like 5 disco balls in the background, like big ones, like 4 feet in diameter, massive.
Nice.
Like, just the way they were playing, I was sober as a bird, but watching it, I was just like, it was sending me on this weird, like, time travel trip almost. I was just like,
Yeah,
I'm
they
going backwards right now, listening to, like, the Beach Boys almost.
Yeah, they do have like sort of a throwback historic vibe, but again, it's also futuristic at the same time. So that's really something I dig about them. But they sort of scratch that itch that I have for things like Thievery Corporation, or like my friend Kaleidoscope Jukebox. It makes really stellar sort of world influenced down tempo. So Krungbin are a live version of that, sort of. And I have a lot of records that have similar sounds to what they do as well. I haven't really been collecting in the last couple of years, but I have a good collection that I built up over several years, where I was collecting a lot of weird vinyl with the intention of sampling it, which I never really took that very far. But
so you just end up with a massive sweet collection.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of this old jazz instrumental stuff that has a lot of cool drum beats and a lot of cool bass lines and a lot of trippy synthesizers and keys and stuff.
That's one of my favorite things about their drummer setup. It's so simple. It's just
oh
a
my
snare,
gosh,
just one tom. And
that
the
guy
full
is
tom.
so in the pocket, dude.
Yeah.
He is just like the smoothest drummer.
And it hits so hard.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's
got like a tiny little, like, I don't know, like 12-key piano right there.
Yes, he plays some keys too, holding it down.
I remember I was watching that video of the Coachella, and he put one of his sticks up underneath him, but they never showed his hand over here until like the last bit. And I was just like, so what, is he just like resting his left hand, just playing with one, and then the camera shot over. I was like, oh shit, there's a tiny little bit. That's where that
just playing drums and keyboard at the same time in a major band at Coachella, no big deal.
His facial feature was motionless.
Yeah, just
He's
pleasant.
in
It
his
almost seemed
zone,
like they're
dude.
like, "Hey, we need somebody to play," and he's just like, "God damn it, the second time, you gotta play.
I
Come on,
got you.
I got this."
Yeah, man, he's definitely got his own zone. And like, don't even get me started on their guitar player.
Dude, have you heard any of his solo stuff?
I haven't.
It's crazy.
Oh man, now I know what I'm doing for the
Crispy,
rest of the
dude.
night. I'm going on a Krung guitar binge.
Yeah, dude. They're insane. Like, I do rhythm guitar. I can't do anything. Like, that stuff is just like, man, you are your guitar. That is a part of you, bro.
He's so nimble and fluent, and the way he has guitar set up is really unique, and it allows for a lot of dynamic variation in his tone. So, like how hard he picks and stuff can make major differences in the volume and the sound. So he's got that old school technique. He's got that strange rig, and like altogether, he's just mastering it and owning it so hard. Can't wait to see them live. It's
like
gonna be so
like you're
rad.
saying, you'd like to lock onto people. Like that's what he was doing. He would like lock onto people and just do this glare. He's like, "Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
doing this."
yeah. You want this note? Yeah, here you go, baby.
He's like, "I know exactly what you want."
Yeah, just slide right on into this guitar solo, baby. Come on.
In the background, you're just like staring at him, but you just got boom.
I just, dude, I watch
She's
their
kicking it.
bangs. I watch their bangs wiggle around. I can't help it. Like, because they
That's-
got like really straight
It's
bang
very
haircut.
intentional.
You
Dude.
can
I
buy-
know, dude.
Their
It just
bangs are
hooks
so
me, dude.
intentional.
You can buy
Like
their
this-
wigs.
Yeah.
You can buy wigs of them, man. I'm about to buy one.
Yeah.
I want to go to the show with it.
Just
Please.
cut your bangs like that, bro.
Yeah, dude, I got you, man.
Touche.
Yeah,
Touche,
man.
sir. I'm gonna dye it all black and cut the
Some bangs and a
I
mullet,
mean,
bro.
to be fair, I think they're wearing wigs too, so it's not really necessary for you to cut their bangs. Your
listen.
No, cut your bangs.
I totally agree with that because the guitarist, like I said, his facial features when he like locks on and he just does like this stare. I've seen that stare, but as an actor, so I think he's like an undercover actor.
The crazy thing about it is that he never shakes his head to move the hair out of his face. His head remains still no matter what
Yeah.
the hair is doing. Like anybody with a hair in their face, you'll see them do like a hair flip or some sort of like motion with their head or neck to move the hair. His hair doesn't move. He doesn't move it. He
The
just lets
hair
it
is an
hang.
alien.
He
and
just lets it
controls
hang,
them.
dude.
The hair controls him.
I wouldn't be surprised if that
That's
hair
where all of his talent
was a part of that guitar. Like the hair to the guitar like makes this energy loop.
It's a wig
The hair
sponsored
of
by Fender.
destiny.
It is the wig of destiny.
Yeah, the wig.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I haven't really felt like playing guitar a lot in the last couple of years, and it's weighed on me because it's a part of my productivity as an electronic musician and
Mhm.
as Tangled Branches to play guitar and to practice and to keep up on it and to want to do that. And I haven't had the desire. And Krung Band absolutely lit me up.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
If
Man.
they ever hear this, I want to tell you guys, my flame was getting low, and you came, you swooped in, and you lit me up, and I am so grateful for you
Yeah,
guys.
no, absolutely.
yeah.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, you grabbed your bass because
Yeah, I went down,
Yeah, dude.
I went and visited my
It's
dad,
like
and
that.
I had a bass down there, and I was just like, "Dad, I need to get this bass." And then he was just like, "You gonna learn how to play it?" And I was just like, "Yeah, here, this is my inspiration, real quick." And I want to get a fucking guitar because them, and if you have time, check out Jojo Stella. Like
Mhm.
he shreds on guitar and he sings at the same time.
they're gonna be on here next.
They'll be here next week.
Oh, I'm into it.
Yeah,
It'll be
and it's
fun.
just he sends you back to almost like a like the Doors vibe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, it's very, very good. They used to have a piano player, but then things didn't work out, and so it's just like a guitar, bass, and drums. And they took like 3 of their first songs off their first EP and completely changed it into a whole different thing. Like I'm used to singing with them,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I go to listen to the new, it's completely different. They hold, and I was like, that's one of my favorite things is they're able to take their shit and just completely
Change
turn it
it.
into something different.
The evolution of the song.
So where's the name Tangled Branches come from?
I was camping, and I was thinking,
Quick.
what am I going to call my music production project that Chris Wilson demanded that I start? And so I was sitting literally underneath a bunch of tangled branches. And I did have sort of a plan, and I was inspired by Pretty Lights. I was like, what?
Hell yeah.
I was like, Pretty Lights is a brilliant name. It's a brilliant brand. It really rolls off the tongue. It's really memorable.
Yeah.
And he can make any kind of music, basically.
He's like one of the best producers.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
in
Hands
general,
down.
like,
Super
Hands
dope.
down.
Super dope.
No, that dude's music has definitely put me places, taken me out of places. Like,
Yeah, I guess he wouldn't want to make like anything super dark or super heavy under the name Pretty Lights because it doesn't, imply that the music's pretty.
Yeah.
But it casts a really broad sort of spectrum that he can work in, and I wanted that for myself. I didn't want to choose anything that sounded so much like a particular genre that I would get stuck there.
I like that.
So Tangled Branches, it's natural. I'm into nature. I'm into trees. I like to climb trees and jump out of them. Like ever since I was a little kid, it's just what I'm into.
Yeah.
And the tangle part, though, there's a little struggle in that, and I think that those two words together like have a magic to them. It has a nice ring to it.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, sitting under the branches, I looked up and saw them all tangled up, and I was like, Tangled Branches, that's pretty good. And so I just like thought about it for a short while longer, and then I was like, yeah, that's it, man. And,
Hell yeah.
And that's how I chose the name.
That's great.
I was at Houston Woods State
Houston
Park,
Woods. Where's
to
that?
be specific. It's outside of Oxford, Ohio. It is adjacent to Hannon's Camp America, if you've ever been
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Shout out Hannon's. Shout out Grandma's Pizza. Shout
Hey,
out
hey,
Paul.
hey.
Love you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah,
I want to
that's
come
cool.
ride on a go-kart with you. Or a golf cart, rather.
Yeah. So we're gonna have you play some songs here in just a minute. Will you walk us through how you create what you do, like your music?
Yeah, my music starts in one of two ways. I either come up with a drum beat first, where I'm just messing around and putting down a beat, or I have a guitar idea in mind that I then make the drum beat for. So if the guitar comes first, I might record the guitar. The way I record my guitar is really simple and sort of ghetto. Is I use a loop pedal. So I will play the guitar part, kick the pedal. It records it. I kick it off, and then it loops. Obviously, I have to do this fairly perfectly in order for it to be usable. But I'm decent at it, so I usually get it knocked out pretty quick. And then, I make the beat to that. But more often than not, I start with a beat. I just open it up. I choose my kick drum. I choose my snare and my hi-hat. And I decide what mood I'm in, how fast I want to go, whether I want like a house beat, whether I want like a break beat, whether I'm feeling like hip-hoppy or like side dub or slow. Like it's whatever mood I'm in, and then I just jump into it and I go.
What's your favorite BPM to play to make in?
I gravitate towards 92 and 96 a lot. I have a lot of songs that are sort of in that area, which is a little slower than a lot of hip hop, and a lot of the bass music these days is slower than that.
Yeah.
But they're doing like fast stuff in between the beats, and my stuff is I don't know. It's a little bit more laid back.
It's melodic.
Yeah, there's always like a lot of melodies in my music. I just I feel compelled once I get one good groove going. I feel compelled to dress it up and like add more stuff. And like I always reach a point where my computer's about to die and I just can't add any more stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's done.
Hell yeah.
But I just like to make a rich soundscape, to have interesting stuff to listen to.
What's the average time for you, on a song to make one?
That's really tough to say because the range is so huge. I have made songs in one day where I started the song and finished the song in one sitting of approximately 8-ish hours. And then I've had other times where I've started a song and worked on it a little bit and then gone back to it again or again and again. Or sometimes even like just banging my head against the song, like working and working on it for many hours. So I guess if I had to average out like between the ridiculous ones where I'm spending way too much time and like knocking it out in a day, I would probably say a month is about right. And I don't usually finish something and release it super quick because I want to look at it from different perspectives and make sure that I still like it after a while. Because I'm a fairly like moody person in terms of like being up and being down, and I want to look at my song when I'm up, and I want to look at it when I'm down and when I'm in between, and when I'm awake and when I'm tired, and examine it from every angle before I put it out there to the people, because ultimately I want it to be suitable for just about anything. Like if you're taking a nap, listening to SoundCloud in the background, and my song comes on, if it wakes you up, I want it to wake you up nicely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if it comes on in your car, it's on a random playlist. I want it to not be too loud, not be too quiet, not be too anything. I just want it to be like
a not skippable.
Yeah.
So kind of like your name, you want it to just work out.
Yeah, I don't want my music to be challenging to the ears. I want it to be fairly easy on the ears, and I want old people to be able to listen to it and appreciate it, just like the Acid Kids.
Yeah,
honestly, I want their parents and their grandparents and their kids to be able to listen to my music and relate to it, because essentially it's just a celebration of fun and nature.
Yeah. Hell yeah!
Just being goofy in nature.
Do you want to play some of your music here?
Yeah, the first thing I want to do, it's a remix. One of my best music brothers, who goes by Calico Frost, shout out Stephen Holdeman. He presented me with these tunes for me to do a remix. The song I chose by Calico Frost, it's called Jasmine Bell Tower, and this is the Tangled Branches Infinite Love remix of his tune.
Hell yeah.
And away we go. Calico Frost, Jasmine Bell Tower, the Tangled Branches remix. I did a little talking on that track so nobody can jack it.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's fine.
That's my version
No,
of like
please
a.
do.
That's my watermark.
Yeah,
Watermark.
watermark it.
That's
Like,
kind of.
Don't you be jacking my track, y'all.
Were you at that show that one time when
But
there was a
check
dude
him out.
DJing and
I've
he
been to
was
a lot of
only
shows.
playing Tin Cup and every one of Tin Cup song it says Tin Cup.
Oh, I wasn't at that
Yeah,
show, but
that was-
that is that's
yeah.
like 4 times in every Tin Cup.
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
That's like part of the song.
I was at a show at one at Jack's where the rapper, the YouTube ads came up for his
Oh my God.
Busted.
Cold.
Classic.
Dang, bro.
So what
Gotta
do you
get that
remix?
premium.
Do you remix a lot of songs then, or
Not a lot. Honestly, my remix and collaboration efforts have been primarily, family oriented. They're friends who I've known for a while, and like I really vibe with them, and we have a relationship prior to even suggesting that we work together.
I got you? Yeah.
I like it.
So it's just like the next step in a friendship
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. And with that in mind, my good friend Mount Analog and I are getting ready to cook something up.
I'm excited
Ooh,
for that
yeah, that'll
shit,
be-
dude.
I
that's
came
gonna
up
be
with
crisp.
this beat, and I was like, man, this is so sunny. It feels like I'm on a porch and I'm smoking a J and like drinking a 40. I was like, this.
That's some
I
gangster
was like,
shit.
I feel like this needs some rhymes. So I hit him up. I was like, I actually just sent it to him, and I was like, hey man, what do you think of this? He was like, dude, yeah, that's nice. And I was like, what do you think about like if there was some rapping on it? He was like, oh yeah, that'd be good. And I was like,
Like
well,
soul.
what if you,
What if you did it?
Like I was really roundabout with it.
Passive aggressive
I
with
couldn't just come out. I was like, oh well, would you be my rapper? Like, so yeah, he agreed. He's going to be my rapper.
That's
I
what's
just
up.
heard from him today. He says it's going to be hot. So
Very nice.
really
Super
excited.
excited.
Yeah,
for
I'm
that.
excited to hear that.
But I actually have the beat here
Yeah.
to share
Oh,
with
nice.
you.
Oh,
So
please.
so this right now the working title is Analog Branches. It's going to change,
The game.
there's going to be a little bit of differences in the mixing, I'm sure, once we add his voice.
Absolutely.
But this is just the instrumental version, and as it stands today, May 7th, 2019, here we go. Here's the part that Jack said the sound
Thank you.
I just want to make a point of mentioning that the birds in my songs are always birds that I record. Somewhere around town. Or
that's
like,
rad.
That's gnarly.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts
How do you-
about certain tracks of yours.
How do you get that so crisp?
It's more often than not, it's not very crisp.
Yeah, that was very sunny though. I feel the sunny vibe. I
like
want to
the
be laying in
the
a pool.
squeaky, squishy sounds in between that are like panning through my ears.
Yeah, there's a company, I think it's Glitch Machines that made whichever one I was using. There's one called Hysteresis and there's one called Fracture, and they're these free plugins that I've just downloaded and went to town on.
Yeah.
And I was using one or the other, probably Fracture, to make those squeaky balloon sounds.
Yeah, I really like those.
It was
like
like-
those little sounds you don't notice right away, but you're like, it's
Yeah,
switching
I
gears
was-
on me.
That's why I like that we have headphones on, because
Yep.
I could hear
That's
the
importance of
layers. Like,
dude, headphones are so important with electronic music. I
Yeah.
feel like because
Yeah,
you hear
man.
it and you vibe with it, and then you hear it in headphones, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are artists.
Yeah,
It's
that's
immersive.
whenever I was making music, I actually had no headphones. I was just using a tiny portable speaker, but then I used those headphones that he's wearing, and those are like almost sound canceling, but they took me like I could hear so much more whenever I put those on.
Oh yeah, man! Headphones were a big influence on how I make music. Because growing up, I listened to headphones laying in bed a lot, or I listened to headphones on the bus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a lot of trippy stuff when I was a kid, and that definitely influenced the way I pan things. I'll put instruments out to the side, or I'll have elements, go from one side to the other, or make like an instrument, the main sound on one side, and then have its echo on the other side, so it sort of goes through the sound field. That stuff is really key. I'm sort of old school with it. Like I came up through learning how to mix rock music before I learned how to make electronic music.
Word.
I sort of skipped over part of my past there, like in the intro. I did learn how to record and make rock music prior to electronic music, and I think that does come through in my music a little bit. There's sort of an old school influence of how I record and stuff.
Were you in bands and everything, or
I was really only in one band for any period of time. The other times it was just like fledgling bands that we rehearsed for a while and never even played any shows.
Yeah.
But I was only in one band. I was singing and playing guitar, and the music was really influenced by like Thursday. And,
Oh, yeah.
And Taking Back Sunday.
Damn, I haven't listened to Thursday for fucking ever.
Oh, dude, yeah, I busted them
I
out the
remember
other
that
day.
stuff.
Since Spotify has brought so many things to my fingertips,
Yeah.
and YouTube, they bring that stuff to your fingertips. I've definitely gone down memory lane and listened to some of that Thursday stuff.
Yeah, I still listen to some Taking Back Sunday, but I haven't thought about Thursday in forever.
I still like the production on a lot of it, but I'm not usually in the mood for that kind of music. But it's cool to listen back to. But yeah, that was in my early 20s. I played guitar in that band and wrote songs.
Word.
So I have like a songwriting background. Like I did some singing, did recording of various bands and stuff, and that definitely, I think, informs how I make music a little bit differently than a person who starts with the laptop. I think that if the laptop is or maybe even the turntables, like if the laptop and the DJ gear is a person's first musical experience, I think that they make a different kind of music than I make.
I believe that. That's fair. Absolutely.
But we play together, and it's all good.
Do you-
I love those guys. Some of those guys are the fucking best guys.
Do you finalize all your stuff? I know a few people, they send like their final tracks out.
I have done both. I have mixed all of my music. Some of my songs have been mastered by other people, but mostly I have mastered it myself, and I don't really know what I'm doing. So there's a large degree of guesswork, and honestly, I just have like this certain preset that I go by on my isotope ozone, and I adjust it a little bit, depending from song to song, but I don't have deep knowledge. But on some of my music, more recently, I've sent it to a guy that produces under the name Wolfie Wolf. His name is Nick Wolf, and he did really, really nice mastering work on the songs that I sent him. And he's not the first person that I've sent music to, and some of the other people, the relationship sort of didn't work out. I didn't like what they sent me, and like when we tried to communicate back and forth with it, it just never got to a point of satisfaction.
Yeah.
And with Nick Wolf, he did it the first time, and I was like, yes. And then I sent him more stuff again.
Sold.
Again, I was like, yes. So I definitely have some comfort with him, and I would like to send him more stuff in the future. I probably will.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
But I'm not opposed. I actually have upped my mastering game a little bit recently. I got some new plugins and learned how to use them a little bit better. So that most recent track I just played for you guys, that's a self-master, but actually, to my ears, it's like pretty good. It's better than my old stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's way more crisp than my old stuff, and it flexes the sound system better and tighter.
Nice.
And my kick drums on a lot of my old music are so unsatisfying nowadays.
Do you look back and are you like, God damn?
Oh, it's
dude.
painful sometimes.
Probably like looking at an old picture of yourself, for real.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man.
Like just
That's-
hearing
Your
it.
senior picture and you're wearing a clip-on tie. You're like, oh my god.
I did that, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't get senior pictures.
Oh man.
No.
I was too broke and I didn't care.
Oh, you mean, I'm not talking like professionally photographed, just like the at school,
Oh,
your
yeah, I
12th
get it.
grade, but yeah.
Yes.
You want to play us a couple others?
Yeah. Let's continue talking for a moment while I get to something because I didn't have it lined up just yet.
Oh no, you're fine.
So do you, whenever you play a show, do you play newer stuff that is it mostly all of your things, and do you play all of your newer stuff, or do you still play stuff you might have wrote 3 or 4 years ago because it still bumps with you?
Ooh, I like this question. I have roughly 4.5 hours of original music.
Damn. son.
And when I'm booked for a show, it is usually a 1-hour set. Sometimes it's 45 minutes, which I don't really appreciate as much because it's a little too short to tell a story or
True.
to gain momentum.
Yeah.
Because I usually just start off like a little more chill, and I intensify over time as I draw people in and as we learn to trust one another out there on that dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to have a little time to do that. An hour is great. I'm totally cool with that. 90 minutes is even better. So it varies. But out of that 4.5 hours, I literally show up with having no idea what I'm going to play. And I go out to that stage and I look at the people and what they're
Feel it
vibing
out.
to and what I think they'll like or whatever, or what mood I'm in. I'll start and just pick one song and like I'm going to start with that one. And then I go from there. I just mix an hour. And there are some songs that I repeat more than others that are in most of my sets.
Has that ever gone wrong for you? Like you felt the vibe of the crowd and then went like, oh shit, that wasn't the vibe.
Oh yeah, I've cleared some dance floors. Yeah, that's part of the process.
Absolutely.
Filling up a dance floor feels good. Clearing one doesn't feel so good. But you know what, man? Like in a social setting where people need to go to the bar from time to time, they need to go to the bathroom, they need to smoke cigarettes. I mean, you never know how much of the people leaving the dance floor is really related to the music that I'm playing. But it can feel for sure like you're the one who did it.
That's why I like going to, that's why I like going to house shows versus like bar shows, because like for the I feel like more people pay attention at a house show than they would at a bar show.
Well, they're gonna care more for sure.
Yeah,
like they're there
it's
for
so
a
much more like even being in the crowd, it just feels so much more personal, and I'm not in a business establishment. Like, I don't know.
All right, so I've got another song queued up now. This is one I released last year. It is called Horizons, and this one I got a new field recorder before I made this song. So you were asking about the birds on the earlier song. I think that was one of my old bird recordings that I just did with like a Shure SM58 sticking literally like out my screen door. So it was just like at my house. I stuck a microphone out, recorded for a while, chopped it up in Audacity, and like there it is. But I got a legit field recorder. It's like a little handheld Zoom. It's got a little smart card in it, sort of like a camera or whatever. But I went out to the Mad River, and I got several recordings of birds and combined them and some water recordings of the Mad River into the intro of this song. And also something I want to point out is I usually don't like move the birds around in the song to line up with any particular thing.
Like you just let the birds be birds.
I chuck them in there. And it's true of birds. I also have cicada sounds. I have cricket sounds. Just water sounds from the Great Miami River and from some of the tributaries and whatnot. But I don't line them up intentionally with the song. I chuck them in there and see what happens, and it almost always makes magic. That's just like the nature of
birds.
The nature of chaos is that it's not really chaos. Like if you throw it out there, it will come together and create a pattern, and that's what happens with these recordings. And without further ado, here goes the song Horizons with the field recordings from the Mad River. That is Horizons.
That little change up at the end got me there. I really like that.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I want to make it known that I don't really know how to play keyboard very well, and I program my melodies.
What does that mean?
It means that I make the computer do it, but the computer doesn't write it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell the computer what to do in a piano roll window, where I place the notes on the timeline where they need to happen, and what the velocity of the note is. So I'm writing MIDI notes.
So that's pretty common, though, for is that pretty common for producers and stuff?
It is. Most people do a mixture of programming and playing keys. Some people only play keys. Some people only program. But I am primarily a programmer when it comes to the electronic part.
That's my biggest problem I have is I can get the drums and the extra layers to it, but when it comes to a melody, it's just really hard for me to get in that flow, for it or to find it more than anything.
I used to listen to so much really like hyper melodic music when I was a kid that when I listen to music now, and it probably was enhanced by learning the guitar and playing that a lot over the years. But when I listen to music, I can automatically envision on top of any chord progression what a lead could or should sound like in my mind. It comes super fast, super easy. Like I have melodies on hand all day. It's like I couldn't turn it off if I tried at
You're
this
like a little
point.
jingle machine.
Pretty much, and it's a valuable tool, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It took a lot of practice to get there.
Yeah, I've only messed around with making music for a little bit, and I was always on way too many substances to use a computer. I spent most of the time going, wait, which button? What's a button? Like, I spent way too much. So everything I've made is super experimental.
I've heard it though. I've heard it.
It
It's not
takes
like
so long though to go from nothing in like not making music on a computer
Yeah.
to making dope computer music. That is a steep hill to climb. And if you're out there listening and you're not making dope computer music yet, but you're trying, keep trying if you want, because it takes a long freaking time, man.
Yeah, you got to spend most of your time first learning. Like, take the time to learn. That goes with any instrument. Like, take the time to learn before you're trying to make something. I feel like. I don't know. Do you have another one you want to play for us?
Well, let's see. Might have a little something.
Yeah, we
Well,
got,
some.
yeah, we got time for about one more, and then we
Yeah.
got to do our quick shout-outs at the end,
Mhm.
and we'll wrap this one up nice and tight.
All right. How about a little unreleased ditty?
Real quick, before you play this one, do
Yes.
you want to give yourself the links for everyone where they can find you?
Oh,
all that
yes.
jazz?
Tangled Branches. If you're using the PC, I know that you can just Google it and find it very easily that way, but I'm on SoundCloud. You may search me on Spotify. I'm available on iTunes, Apple Music. Just Google Tangled
Okay.
Branches. The primary place to find the most of my music is SoundCloud. And I also have music for sale on Bandcamp as well.
And do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah.
My next show is at Kinetic Fire in
Ooh.
Spencer, Indiana.
Very nice.
That's coming up in like a week or two.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's creeping up on me. Kinetic Fire is the first festival I ever played, and I'm so super glad that I'm going to get to go back.
How's the growth of it been since you first played?
I don't know. I haven't been there. that's the thing. Like, I have no idea what to expect. It's going to be a little random. All right, so this next tune is called Snow Day, and this is a terrible working title. I'm not into it, but I've waited so long that it's like stuck now. So here it comes. This is going to be on this album I've been crafting for a really long time, so this is a little sneaky peeky.
Ooh.
The final version, I'm sure, will be a little bit different, but this is the vibe. So check it out. Guitar.
I'm a
After how
fan.
much I trash talk that name, I'm probably gonna have to rename it.
I'm a fan of the title of it. Snow Day.
I was listening to Boards of Canada a lot
What about
when I made that song.
What about snowbirds?
Snowbird. That's got like a connotation of like elderly Floridians or something.
All these snowbirds.
I want to give gratitude to a couple people though regarding my musical path. Specifically, I want to thank my parents for being cool with me practicing guitar in the house when I was a teenager and like playing distorted music, playing Metallica riffs 100 times in a row, and they didn't say shit about it, and that was really kind. And I want to specifically thank Tyler Holler, also known as Yeti, for giving me software, getting me samples and advice, and sitting down with me and being willing to go over some things production-wise to help me reach a higher level. And also, when we made that one tune together, it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done. And I can't wait to work with him again. I just want to thank him from the bottom of my heart for blazing his own path, which is amazing. To watch. Absolutely. And being an element of inspiration to the homies back here. And being so giving. He's very giving with his time, and he was giving to me with his time. So thank you, Tyler. I love you, brother.
Cool. Do you have any other shout-outs or anything you want to give?
Oh, that'll be all. I'm so grateful you guys brought me on. It was fun.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah,
we're
really glad you got to come here.
Try to learn some talking skills.
Let some time go by. We definitely want to have you back on here.
Word.
See where you've grown in these couple months.
I'll try to get some new stories.
Oh, no. I'm sure you got a whole mess of them.
Yeah.
Well, today's show is sponsored by Family Vibes Entertainment. You can check them out on Facebook. That's Family Vibes with a Z instead of an S there. And they put on a lot of great shows. If you have any questions on shows coming up.
They got some stuff in the work right now. It'll be coming up. So you guys, please follow them. Keep an eye out. They're going to bring some champion stuff for us.
Yeah, as well as our other sponsor, Soul Tribe. They will actually be spitting fire at Project Earth in June. And go ahead and get your workout tickets, guys. That's in August. They're going to have the 10th anniversary of the Workout Fire Show. So that'll be really cool. So check them out on Facebook as well for upcoming shows and all that. They're definitely a real talented crew. That's Soul Tribe. You guys got anything else? Nate, you got anything you want to end with?
Nope.
That's it.
Well, thank you again for coming on here.
Thank you, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was nice to kick it with you guys.
For sure.
Yeah, once again, check out Tangled Branches. Lots of great hits from you, man.
And future hits coming to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not going to stop. I absolutely will not. That's the one thing I can actually predict about the future.
What I'm excited for is to see what you're going to pass on to your son and what he does next.
Ooh, who knows, man? It's going to be some holographic stuff. he's going to like stand up in front of a crowd and wave his hands, and the holographs are going to like dance and like do the fractals and
just
like,
thinks the orchestra.
The flower of life is going to shoot out of his fingertips.
Whoa,
man! I can't wait for the future.
It's going to be heavy.
All right, well, that was episode 8, guys. We'll hear talking.
we're here talking.
We're here talking. We'll be here talking next week. That's the show.
That's it. Love you guys.
Good one, guys.
The secret of the 80s sound is gated reverb.